Hello, everybody, and welcome back, you wonderful, wonderful nerds. Today we're gonna do nested try-catch blocks, and you're sitting there like, but Mr. Sorcerer, why nested? Guys, we need to be able to catch several errors, several exceptions at different levels in the code now, which is precisely what we're going to do. We've already done nested statements, nested if statements, nested while statements. Now we're going to do nested try-catch statements because we're on the road to be good programmers, right? We're trying to be the best we can be. So let's jump in, right? First one, this is the first nested one, so we're going to do another try inside of there. And the first try is going to be like an int a equals 10. Just something straightforward and simple. Very easy. Int b equals 0, not 10, 0. And then we're going to do int result like we did on the last one. And then we're going to say a divided by b, right? And we already remember this. Causes divide by 0 exception. Okay, that's actually good for that one. Let me get rid of that. And then we'll do the catch right outside of that. Oops. We're going to say divide by 0 exception, EX, to make sure it pulls up the appropriate error code. And then we're just going to say console write line. We'll just leave it simple, right? Console write line X message. We could say inner catch. We could say something like inner catch boop division by 0 error, right? Obviously. And then we do plus right there. We could do that. That also works. No, there's no problem if you were like, what I want to do it this way. Hey, you do you. And then outside of that try catch, we'll do an array, and we'll say equals, let's just go simple 1, 2, 3, right? Why did you move over there, you silly thing? Oops, array numbers. My brain farted for a second there. So array numbers. And then let's just do the same thing we've been doing, console.writeLine, and then we're going to call numbers and call for 5, right? Index out of range exception. Too easy. And then we can finish that. Go away. And do our catch. Index out of range exception. And then we're just going to go with the console write line of EX message, exception message. No real need to do anything else outside of that. We'll do the basic catch exception message of just exception EX, console write line, basic error message, right? Plus EX. Oops. Dot message. There we go. Meant to finish it. And then we'll go over the finally block. Finally. Finally, life has new meaning. Yeah, Family Guy. You guys like Family Guy? You guys have to like Family Guy. Nerds love Family Guy. I would know. I'm a nerd. Finally, block executed. Now, obviously, like, this section technically isn't necessary for this specific program, right? We don't really need to. But again, like, this code kind of runs regardless whether an exception was thrown or not. So there could be things that you need to still do. Like, maybe you need to initiate a loop so that it goes back to the beginning, or you have a if counter that needs to finish no matter what, whether there's an exception or not. Maybe you're like tallying, for instance, we're letting people into a stadium, and if somebody doesn't have a ticket, we send them back, but we still need to mark that somebody showed up, right? So that's what you could do that in the finally. We still need to mark somebody showed up, but they didn't have a ticket, so they got kicked to the back of the line. Something simple like that. Like there's a whole bunch of methods to use that for. That's just a quick example off the top of my head. So the nested structure that we have here basically allows for more granular handling, excuse me. I didn't really like make these two the same thing. Let's Control S and save real quick. I didn't make these two related to each other. To be fair, I can't really think of something off the top of my head to relate them to each other that I would need two different try catches. But besides that, I can't remember also the code to like no symbols. I'll have to remember. I'll have to go Google that one later. But I just wanted to show you it is literally this simple as putting the try catch inside of there, right? It is that straightforward. So we'll run it real quick and you'll see inner catch, division by 0, error, attempted to divide by 0, index was outside of the bounds of the array, finally block executed. Perfect, right? Easy. So yeah, the inner try catch handles the division by 0. The outer try catch handles the the index out of range, and the finally block ensures that the code goes through, and this code in here would execute no matter what. This is just our basic exception handling. I think that's pretty straightforward. I don't know if we really covered more than what we did. Let's just talk about it real quick. So nested structures, specifically try catches, allow for granular. That means like granular, like think of like a grain of sand, right? Handling of exceptions. And then I guess you could say at different levels. This also helps to make it easier to debug and manage complex conditions, right? You can think of all sorts of scenarios where these try-catch would be, try-catch nested would be very important. So, but yeah, that's the end of the video. I think you guys got the idea. Again, these are all like teaching you the foundations, and none of them are really linked together. I know, it seems kind of weird. It's like, why are we doing all this weird stuff? Why don't we just kind of like add things on to one big program or something? I thought about that, but then I also remembered that Visual Studios can just randomly error out, and then you have to start the whole program over, so I don't want to do that. But besides that, yeah, we're going to get into like an actual program again at some point. We kind of did one earlier with like our part 4, but I felt like those videos were too long. So we'll get into more in-depth stuff. Anyways, that's the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate everybody who even watches a few minutes of my video. If you learned anything, please comment below what you learned. Thank you guys.